Okay, so hello and welcome to this video session. Today we're going to discuss shear flow. So let us have first our objectives, learning objectives of this particular video lecture. So at the end of this session, you will be able to first define the shear flow on beams, which is focused on build-up sections. Second, we will learn how to calculate spacing requirements of connectors like nails and bolts, rivets on beams, focused on build-up sections. And then lastly, we are to learn to compute the shear flow on considered location of the beam cross-section. So shear flow is defined as distribution of shear forces along a symmetrical plane that tends to cut the connectors like nails, rivets, or bolts. So recall that the shear force is just a cutting force. And if we have a build sections, like a build up section is actually members that are connected by these bolts, nails, or rivets at a certain spacing. So when your build up sections tends to separate when it is subjected to loading, there will be a shear flow in it. So it is important to know the value of the shear flow if we intend to determine the space requirements between these connections. Okay, so let us consider here a beam cross section that are connected by nails that are spaced at 6 inches. So recall that in our previous session, Q is equal to VQ all over I. So Q here is the shear flow. V here is the shear force. And Q is the moment of area along the neutral axis. It is either the above or below section of the beam. And I would be our moment of inertia for this whole section. So as for the unit, if we are going to investigate the unit, remember that we are working with Newton for our shear, and then the moment of area will be in terms of millimeter cube, and I is millimeter raised to 4, so therefore it is in terms of Newton per millimeter. So if we intend to express it in English units, V here is pounds force, and Q is either inches raised to 4, or it could be feet raised to, inches cube, or inches or feet per feet cube. So I will be also a 4th degree. So therefore, it could be pounds per inch, or could be pounds per foot. This is the general formula derived from the earlier video shown. And from this, we can further say that from the unit, it is just simply equal to force all over the spacing. Okay, so take note that in applying this formula, we should count the number of cuts cuts caused by the shear force that is coming from the separation of the build-up sections. So let us discuss that further in this example. Say we have two planks here that are connected with rows of nails spaced at 6 inches. So we are going to determine the maximum shear force that can be applied to the beam. So let us write our formula for Q. Q is equal to VQ all over IB. So V here is V here is not this one, but rather 500 pounds here is actually the force on our nail. Okay, the force on our nail. So therefore, before we can proceed to this one, we need to express Q in terms of the calculated shear flow caused by the separation of these two build-up members. In that term, we are going to use this formula. Say Q is equal to force all over spacing. So we can actually express that is equal to force all over length. Hence, this will be our Q allowable, or the shear flow allowable for each of the nail. So if we are going to have the cross section wherein these two planks are connected by these nails, we can see on the section if this would slide towards a separation between these two planks, there will be a shear force that will be applied on the nails, okay? And that shear forces will be counted, okay? So therefore, your Q allowable here will be equal to 2 times force on each nail, we divide it by the length or the spacing between those nails. Say on the longitudinal section, we can see that spacing is 6. So we substitute the force on each nail that is given in the problem. So that Q allowable is 2 times 500 all over 6. So this would yield to 166.67 pounds per inch. So I would like to emphasize here that we count the number of the shear, okay? And what is that shear? That shear force is actually cutting your nails. How many nails? There are 2 nails here, so that is why 2 here is being multiplied by the expression. So we have 2 times 500 all over 6, we have 166.67. So we have known this, and this is unknown. We tend to compute Q, or Q is just simply the moment of area along the neutral axis. And I here is the moment of inertia, centroidal moment of inertia of the whole section. And then width here is the width. Sorry, we shouldn't include here B, because we are referring to the shear flow only, not the stress. But if we intend to have the stress, we multiply the denominator by the thickness that are involved in on the neutral axis. Okay, so let us compute this one by one. So for our Q, Okay, it's the moment of area above or below the neutral axis. Say, if we are going to consider here the top portion, of course, this is the neutral axis. We can consider either Q above or Q below. So in this case, I'll just consider Q above. So the area of the above section is 6 by 2. Okay, that is 6 by 2 multiplied by the centroid of this section up to the neutral axis, and that is equivalent to 1. 6 by 2 by 1. So we have 12 cubic inches. And then I will be equal to the centroidal moment of inertia. We have VH cubed all over 12. So considering the whole section, so the base is 6, the height is 4, and that is cubed all over 12. So we will have 32 inches raised to 4. Okay, so we have completed all of the requirement of this formula. We'll just have to substitute it. So for our Q, it is computed to be 166.67, and we are looking for the maximum allowable shear force that can be applied. Q here is 12, and our I is 32. So manipulating the equation, we have 444 pounds. So this will now be our answer to this particular problem. Okay, so next, so we have here another condition. Actually, this is the same cross-section of problem number 1, but the unknown here is the shear force that is being resisted by each of the nail. So if we have the formula, Q is equal to force all over spacing. Okay, we'll just cross multiply that. Therefore, force is equal to the shear flow times S, or the spacing. And of course, we also need to multiply this by 2, since on the action of the shear, there will be 2 cuts. Okay, it will cut 2 nails on the separation of these planks. Okay, so we substitute other unknowns here. We have 2F is equal to Q, the shear flow, times the spacing is 6. So we have 2F is equal to 6Q. So now we are going to determine Q by this formula, VQ all over I. Okay, so V here is now 600 pounds, or the internal shear of the build-up section. So Q is computed a while ago, equivalent to 12 cubic inches. Okay, all over I, which is also computed a while ago, to be 32 inches raised to 4. Okay, so therefore Q will be equal to 225 pounds per inch. So we substitute this value to this equation. Say this is equation 1. Substitute in the first equation. We will have 2F is equal to 6 times 225. Therefore, the shear force resisted by each nails will be 6 times 225 all over 2. So this is a value of 675 pounds. Okay, so that's it for this second problem. So moving on to the third problem. So we have here these 4 planks vertically connected by a bolt. So this time we are going to determine the maximum shear force developed in each bolt if the bolts are spaced at 250 millimeters apart and the applied shear is 35 kilonewtons. So again, we will be using this formula VQ all over I. Hence, our Q here is force all over spacing. So we work on this first, that Q is equal to force F all over spacing. The spacing is 250. Hence, we need to also multiply F by how many actions of the shear. So we can see here that this is horizontal. And if these planks will be separated from the section, there will be 4 cuts on our nail. Okay, so your nail will be cut 4 times. Say this is the bolt. Okay, so it will be cut 4 times. So we multiply it by 4. So therefore, Q is equal to 4F all over 250. So before we are going to apply this on this formula, we need to compute for Q and I. So first we need to determine the location of your neutral axis, because this time it's no longer symmetrical. So we need to compute or locate the neutral axis. Say if this is the upper planks, it's the lower one. So we draw that one. Okay, there are 3 planks at the bottom. Okay, so we label the dimension. Say this is 250 millimeters, and your bottom height is 350 millimeters. So the remaining portion here is 100 millimeters. So each of the plank has a thickness of 25 millimeters each. Say the procedure is, of course, you need to say this is the reference axis, and then from this we locate say we assume a certain location of your neutral axis. Say this is y bar. Okay, so from this we'll now label our planks. Say these bottom planks are labeled 1, the upper plank are labeled 2. So we employ this formula, area total times summation of area times y. Okay, so area 1 is equal to 350 by 25, that is equal to 8,750. So the corresponding y1 from your reference line, this one, the green line at the bottom, is simply the half of 350. And that would be equal to 175 millimeters. So for area 2, that is 250 by 25 that would be equal to 6,250 millimeters squared. So for its corresponding y2, okay, so we can see here that the total distance from the bottom is 450. So we can add that 350 plus 100, that would be equal to 450. So if we need this one, so we'll just deduct the half of 250. So 450 minus 250 all over 2, and that will be equal to 325. Okay, so we total the area. So the total area will be equal to, there are 3 area 1, okay, and there are 2 sections for area 2. So we have 38,750 millimeters squared. So we now employ the formula. We go back to this. So we have y bar times 38,750 is equal to, there are 3 area 1 and 175, the distance from the neutral axis. We add the 2 top areas of the plank. We have 6,250 times its distance from the bottom. So therefore, we can get the value of y bar, and that will yield to 223.39 millimeters. So knowing y bar, we can now compute for our Q above or below. So this is 223.39. Now we should be aware of the distances of these sections on the neutral axis. Okay, so if we need to draw a line here, say we remove first the label. Okay, so this is the half or the centroid of this. We need to determine this distance. Say this is Z1, and say this is the neutral axis. We also need to determine the centroid of this up to the neutral axis. Say that is Z2. So basically, we will be needing this distance. Just simply subtract 450 to 223.39, and that would be equal to 226.61. Okay, of course, we will be concerned with this distance. And what is that distance? Half of 250, that is 125, as well as this distance, half of 350, that is 175. And therefore, Z here will be equal to 450, Z1. So we consider this area 1 here, that is 350, 223.39, okay, minus this, minus 175, and Z2 will be equal to 226.61 minus half of 250, that is 125. So we can compute now. We have Z1 and Z2, 48.39 and 101.61. So what are the use of the Z1? Because we are going to use that for the transfer distance in solving for your I-bar. So I-bar, there are three. Area 1 here, the base is 25 by height is 350. This is cube divided by 12 plus 3 areas, okay, 25 by 350, and the transfer distance is Z1, 48.39. this is squared, and then we add the two areas of area 2. Base is 25, height is 250, that is cube divided by 12 plus 2 times 25 by 250. Distance is 101.61. This is also squared. So we compute for I-bar, and we will yield to 523.6 million millimeter raised to 4. So our next task is to solve for Q. So for our Q, we'll just have to consider Q above. So you might also wanted to consider Q below. So Q above is this shaded portion. Sorry. Shaded portion here. Okay. So we first consider these three rectangles here. And we should know this distance, of course. Okay. So how shall we get that distance? That distance is simply 350. Okay, this total height minus y bar. 350 minus 223.39. And that would yield to 126.61. Okay. We will be needing also this distance. And that distance is simply equal to this one, 226.61. Okay, so we are now ready to compute for the above Q. So let us have these three areas first. This one, yellow. So the thickness is 25 by its height 126.61, and then 2 times 25 thickness times 226.61. By the way, these are areas. Okay. And what would be the distance of this rectangle up to the neutral axis? So this yellow here will just have to multiply 126.61 all over 2, or the half of it, and this one 226.61 all over 2 is the distance of this area up to the neutral axis. So therefore Q here will be equal to, so we have here 1.88 times 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. So I would like to emphasize here that this Q here is the maximum Q considering the whole section. So therefore it could not be applied to the formula, because in actual we have a build-up section. So what I mean is the separation of this bottom and up bottom and the top members are considered in the calculation of the Q. So in here we have actually considered the neutral axis and considered the top and bottom, but actually it would separate. Okay, so meaning we'll just have to consider those sections that will be going upward and those sections that will be going downwards. So if we're going to re-illustrate this one, so first we have this section, say this is the section. So we are recalculating Q considering the separation of the upper portion and the lower portion. It's not about considering the whole shapes that are covered with Q above and Q below. Remember that Q is the moment of area from the neutral axis. So a while ago we have computed Q above as all of this section. But we cannot really do that because, as I have said, the Q that will be considered here is the whole section, or the section that on the sections that are above and below the section. So let me illustrate that in the calculation. So when this beam will be subjected to your shear, these two sections here will go up, okay, and it will be separated to this one, and that would cause a shear here, cutting your bolt at four sections. So if that is the case, the calculation of Q is concentrated whether you consider here the green shaded portion, okay, or you consider here the shaded blue portion here. So either way, we'll just arrive at the same answer. So Q above, if we consider the above section, we'll just have to compute for this rectangle. And remember, this has a thickness of 25, okay, with a height of 250. So in computing the distance, we need to recall the location of the neutral axis, that is 223.4 millimeters from the bottom. Say if this is 450 millimeters, we just deduct 450 to 223. We have 226.66 millimeters. So these distances are the basis in computing for the moment arm of each of the section or the area. So if we consider the above, we have 25 by 250. So we have two of them. Now, what will be our moment arm for that? So importantly, although we consider this whole section, we will be just concerned with the above area of these rectangles in calculation of the distance, okay? Say the centroid of this up to the neutral. axis. And what will be that distance? Simply 226.6 minus half of 250. So let me rearrange that one. So actually the centroid of this whole rectangle is located 125 millimeters from above. This is 125 mm. So we are concerned with this distance, this one. Okay. Say this is W1. So W1 is 226.6 minus 125. That will be equal to 101.6 millimeters, and that shall be multiplied here. So the above Q shall equate to 1.27 times 10 raised to 6 millimeter raised to 4. Okay, so I would want to reiterate here to avoid confusion, that this section shall be treated as a whole, although the section was bisected by the neutral axis. Still you consider it as a whole. Okay, so you consider that as a whole, that is 25 by 250, and that is two of them. Okay, so we multiply that to the distance of this whole section to the neutral axis. Okay, so warning, you might divide 226.6 into 2, and that will be the distance. No, that is not. The distance to be considered here is the centroid of the whole section, not the bisected section. Okay, so that is why the half of 250 is the centroid of this whole section, and from that you locate that up to the neutral axis. So that is why 226.6 minus 125 is equal to 101.6, and we will yield to this answer. So to expound that further, you might want to consider Q below. So on the bottom section, we will be considering these three parallel sections here, or the three planks, that has a size of 25 by 350. By the way, this is the height of this is 350. So 25 by 350, and there are three of them. Okay, again, we will be concerned with the centroid of this 350. Okay, so it is not the centroid of this 223, it is the centroid of the whole height, or the full height up to the neutral axis. See, this is W2. Now W2 is equal to, first, 223.4 minus half of 350. So W2 is equal to 223.4 minus 350 all over 2 is 48.4. So this will be now the distance of the centroid of those sections from the neutral axis. So we have the same result for that. So we have 1.27 times 10 raised to 6 millimeter raised to 4. So as a summary, in calculation for Q, when we have a built-up sections, you always consider for the whole section, although it is bisected by the neutral axis. So do not ever consider those sections that are bisected by the neutral axis, just as we have presented a while ago, just to emphasize that this is erroneous or incorrect. Okay, so we consider the whole of it. So we can now continue for the computation, going back to our formula, this one. Okay, so therefore Q is equal to VQ all over IB. We can now substitute for F all over 250. The internal shear is given 35, or that is 35,000 Newton. And the Q is 1.27 times 10 raised to 6. Walang B dito. So the computed I is see 523.6 times 10 raised to 6. And from this, you can now directly compute for the force in each of the bolt given the spacing of 250. So we will have a value of 5,307.9, or we can write it in terms of kilonewton, or that is 5.31 kilonewton. So this must be the force in each of the bolts. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So again, do not be confused by the calculation of the Q above and Q below. Just remember that these are built-up sections. The separation of the members are on the solid sections. So that's the key here, on the solid section. So when you compute for the Q, you also consider the solid sections. You do not want to cut your section. So it will not involve the whole area times Y bar of the whole members, but rather the separated members should be treated independently, just as this. The shaded green here and the shaded blue here. And then refer to the neutral axis. So that is the principle of the shear flow. So moving on to the next problem. So we have the same beam here, only that we are going to determine the maximum spacing of the bolts if each of the bolt can carry a shear force of 20 kilonewton and the applied shear is 45 kilonewton. So mas madali na lang to because we have already derived all most of the required here. So Q here is VQ all over IB, wherein Q is force all over spacing. So how many cutting force? There are 4. So if these two members will slip upwards and will this bottom will slip downwards, there are 4 actions of the cutting force here. So we need to multiply that by 4. So divided by the spacing. So the spacing here is unknown. Okay. So we can equate these two. So we have 4F all over S is equal to VQ all over IB. So we further refer to the given for the force in each of the bolt is limited to how much? 20 kilonewton, or that is 20,000 newton. So we are required to determine the spacing, and the shear, the internal shear of the beam could resist 45 kilonewton, or that is 45,000. And then Q a while ago, 1.27 times 10 raised to 6. By the way, again, just remove this B here. And then I was computed to be just that I this one 523.6 times 10 raised to 6. So we will have a value of 732.95 millimeters required spacing if these are the conditions. Okay, so simple as that. Now moving on to the next problem. Say the beam here is subjected to a shear force of 800 Newton. Determine the average shear stress developed in the nails along the sides of A and B if the nails are spaced at 100 mm apart. Each nail has a diameter of 2 mm. Now to be able to compute for the requirement, of course, we still need to determine the location of the neutral axis. So if this is the beam, we have this as our reference line. And then compute first for the y bar. Say I'm going to have a line here for our y bar. So the area total times y bar is equal to summation of area times y. So we treat this as 1. It's also 1. And that is 2. So area 1 is 150 by 30, as we can see here, 30 by 150. And area 2 is equal to 250 by 30. So we come up with those values. And the distance of y1 from your reference line, just the half of 150 divided by 2, that is 75. And y2 is equal to, we just deduct, okay, the half of the thickness from 150. So this is the centroid. So remember, this is half of the thickness, that is 15. Okay, so therefore 150 minus 15, that would be equal to 135. Both are in millimeters. So the total area is, there are two, area 1 plus single area of area 2. So 9,000 plus 7,500, that is 16,500 millimeter squared. So therefore 16,500 times y bar is equal to, there are two, area 1, okay, times 75 plus 75 times 135. So therefore y bar is 102.27 millimeters from the bottom. So we can now compute for I. So this is just the summation of I plus AD squared, or the transfer formula. So we refer back to our illustration. Y bar is 102.27. So therefore this remaining here is 150 minus 102.27, that is 47.73 millimeters. So we start with 1. The base of our section 1 is 30 by 150. So 30 by 150 cube over 12 plus 30 by 150 times d squared. The distance of 1 from the neutral axis, say this is half of 150, that is 75. Okay, so this is Z1. So therefore Z1 is 102.27 minus 75, that is 27.27 millimeters. How about 2? So Z2 is this one. So Z2 is 47.73. We'll just have to deduct half of the thickness minus 15. We have 32.73 millimeters. Okay. So for area 1, the distance, transfer distance is 27.27 and this is squared. There are two of them, so we multiply it by 2 plus the upper section. So the base for the upper section is base is 250 by the height of 30. BHQ over 12 plus area 250 by 30. The distance computed 32.73 squared. So therefore I bar is 32.164 times 10 to the 6 millimeter raised to 4. So next we need to get our Q. So remember that the section here is this one. This is for A and this is for B. So remember, QA and QB is just the same. We'll just have to consider this solid section here. Okay, the solid section. So considering the solid section, the area is 30 by width is 250, and then the distance from the neutral axis is actually Z2, that is equal to 32.73. So we have 245,475 millimeters cube. Okay, so the force on the nails Q is equal to force all over spacing, right? But we need to count here how many forces if there are separation. So let us count. Now the line A here is independent to that of B. So therefore, considering only A, there will be a single count for A. And again, independent yung B, ano? We cannot count that as 2 because A and B here are independent of each other, although the calculation are equal for both A and B here because they have the same solid beam to be considered in the calculation. So our multiplier is 1. Okay, so therefore the requirement, whether we average shear stress in the nails or we will be concerned with F, is simply Q times the spacing. So the spacing is equal to 100 millimeters. Okay, so F is equal to Q times 100. So let this be our equation 1, so that Q will be derived to this VQ all over I. So the shear carried is 800 Newton times the computed Q all over I, the computed I here is 32.164 times 10 to the 6. Hence, Q is 6.105 Newton. So we substitute it on the equation, this one. So therefore, force is equal to 6.105 times 100. That is equal to 610.56 Newton. So this is the force carried by each of the nails, and the average shear stress is simply tau is equal to V all over A. We have 610.56. By the way, this is force, force on the nail, and we divide it by the area of each of the nail, 2 millimeter diameter. So we have pi all over 4 times 2 squared, and there are 2 of them, so multiply it by 2. So we have tau equivalent to 97.17 megapascals. So this is the shear carried by each of the bolt. So again, we divide that by 2 because there are 2 involved nails here, both sides. Okay, so this is for the problem. So I hope you may practice some other problems in some references. So thank you, and prepare for a quiz for next meeting.